Hey everyone, I'm Helena Ford and I'm the CTO of StatTiger, a mobile dev agency in the UK. I've been working with React Native since the beginning and I'm an active maintainer of Notifee, a local notification library by Invitays. You can find me at Helena Ellie Ford on Twitter and I have a blog, ford.dev. Today I'm going to give a quick demo and talk about how you can exploit the full power of notifications to increase user engagement and retention. We'll cover getting set up with Notifee, media support, quick actions, scheduling user notifications, and a few other bits. Push notifications often require third-party services like Firebase to operate. However, local notifications are configured on the device itself and allow you to get them up and running without any such third parties. A good example is your alarm clock that sends a local notification at whatever time you set your alarm for. There are several React Native libraries out there that can help you configure these notifications. One of these, which I'm going to talk about today, is Notifee by Invitays. Notifee enables developers to build rich notifications with a simple API whilst taking care of complex problems such as scheduling, background tasks, device API compatibility, and more. Okay, so let's get into the code then. So you see on the screen an example project I prepared for this demo, which is some TV shows. Just plain simple JSON data with a display notification button. And if we look here, it's just a plain button with on press. So what we want to do here is display a notification, a local notification. So before we even do that, we should also say you would need to install the library first, of course. So I've already installed it for this example, but if you can see my terminal here, you can do yarn add notifee /React Native, and then if you cd into iOS and pod install, that's all you need to do to set up Notifee. And then we'll just get right into the code, so it's fairly straightforward. So wait notifee.display notification. So everything is TypeScript, so it tells you, okay, what does it expect to take. We'll just start off with simple title and body, hello world, body, world, and Android requires one extra step, which is a channel ID. And we'll have to make it first. I normally just tend to go general, default, any name really you like, but just keep in mind that the user will see the name, so when you create the channel, with notifee.create channel, the same ID you pass it to the payload, so general, and then name. So this is what the user see. So just keep it fairly user friendly, and then importance. Okay, so this is probably one of the things that trips people up the most, which tripped myself up too, is if you want it to be a banner, like a heads up, to go over the apps and not just like hidden in the notification tree when it comes through, is to do importance of high. Also, you can call create channels as many times as you want. It's not really an issue, because Android will just ignore it if it's already created. But also remember, once you've created a channel, you can't then update any of its properties. You have to delete it first, just to remember that. Yeah. So if we go ahead and try to display this, fingers crossed, there you go. It'll come up, hello world. We haven't specified a notification yet, but we can easily do that. Small icon. Small icon, and you have to add this to your project separately, which is detailed on the docs page. I've added this earlier, and it's just a TV icon You can give it any name, that's just the default name that Android Studio uses. So if we try to display this again, you'll see now it has a TV notification icon, yay. So that's basically part one. And next we'll go into making this a bit more complicated. So this is probably like what, you know, most apps can do. Title body is pretty standard. Okay, so as you can see, I've specified a large icon. This is literally just a random URL I got off Google, and it's a .png. So on Android, you can add a .png, .jpeg, and it can be local or remote. So this is a remote URL. You can also add like require. So here I tried to do an example of a local and a remote one. So here's a local asset file. So if I look into here, you can see I've added the image, and then some actions. This is probably getting ahead of ourselves, but we'll just take it one step at a time. So if I slowly start to build this up, so if I do large icon, and then this URL, which just copy from here. I'm not going to type that out. Okay. There you go. So you can see the large icons on the right hand side, which is perfect. It's what we want. So if I just swipe that away, and then we'll go down into adding the big picture. So on Android there's this thing called styles, so you can have different types of styles: messaging, big picture, inbox. Again, I don't really want to go into like specifics of the API because it's all online, all on the docs, but it's just to give a feeler of what you can do, what is possible. Okay, so, oh yeah, because I've taken it out of this file and put it in here, it's not recognising this. That's it. Okay. So if I swipe down now on the notification, you should see the picture. So this is the large icon, and then this is styles, Android style big picture, which is used just like a local asset. And if we now look at iOS, so on iOS, they don't have channels, but they do require to request permissions. So for the sake of demo, I'll just add it here. Notifee dot permission. You can specify exactly what you want, but default is fine. It will give you the permissions you need to display alert that comes over the app. So I swipe that, and iOS. So here we want to show a video. You can add images too, but this is the cool thing about iOS, is that you can have videos. I put an example again of how you can do the image, which is pretty much identical to Android, just the field is under attachments. On iOS, you can add an array. So it will, if you have loads of images and videos specified here, it will literally just go down the list in order until one can successfully load. Okay, so let's just pull over the iOS emulator and see what this video displays like. So we say display notification. Okay, so this is the extra step. There's different ways you can call this and where you can call it throughout your app lifecycle to be less intrusive to the user, but demo purposes, let's just call it straight away and display the notification. Okay, so here you go. The first time it loads, it might take some time to load. If you've got big files, I've obviously not optimized this video or anything. You could also make it a GIF, which would probably speed it up. Excuse me, as well. You can play it. Here you go. Cool. So if I just quickly take all this out and actually see what it would look like with all the right text and everything. So new episode, Grey's Anatomy, episode name, play. Great. This isn't actually very useful though to the end user. So now we can actually start going into what quick actions are. So quick actions is a cool way for your user to engage with your app without them actually having to be in your app, which is great if they're doing something else and they see a notification pop up, they can quickly interact, and it doesn't really affect what they're doing. So for Android, we'll have to go into the API a little bit. It accepts an array of actions, a press action, which is an object, and a title. So title is basically like a button label. So we've got watch now and save for later, and an ID. So ID default, Notifee will know this, what you want. When someone presses on that, you want the app to open. And our ID bookmark, this is completely whatever you want. In our case, we want the user to be able to bookmark from a notification. So before we actually display this, or we can display this and show you, the buttons won't do anything much until we add the event handlers to know, okay, user has actually pressed these buttons. So the first thing we need to do is add a background one. So we just import Notifee quickly, import Notifee. And then Notifee dot on background event, async expects an async function, and this will give you an event of type and detail. So we can quickly just print that out. To see what we get back from the event handler. And this, as the function is called background, this will only run when your app is in background. There's also an on foreground event handler, which we'll add in a separate place. So with the background event, you'd always want it to be really here before your app's loaded, so it's always there. And then the foreground one, you can pretty much have it wherever you want. I always try to put it in when I put it in my apps, I always try to put it when the app first renders, as early as possible really as well. But again, that one really any way you want. Okay, so as we have two actions with these IDs, this is what we want to hook into. So we can do if type equals event dot action press. I'm not sure. Will TypeScript pick that up? Yeah. So action press and the ID. So we can get that from press action. So detail dot press action dot ID. And so if your user presses the default action, that will open up app, but also we'll have to cancel the notification, so we'll just do notifee.cancel notification and give the ID of the notification, so that's just detail.notification.id. We can demonstrate here what watch now, how we would use watch now. So we trigger this. If this was a real world app out there in the world, this would be triggered when the actual episode is about to air or it has been released. So if we put that in the background, and then hopefully our background handler will pick up this event, which is what we want, and we'll cancel it when the app opens. And if you look down in my terminal, you will see that you can see all these events coming through. If I do this to make it more easier to detect, so 2 is press action, and you can see it's coming through from the background. Next we'll add a foreground handler. So this can go, like I said, can go anywhere. I always do it this way on the use effect when my app is first rendered or loaded. And that. We got on foreground event. And it's exactly the same as the background one. Then we have a type and detail of the event, and we always want to make sure we're returning that, so it's unsubscribed after the app has unmounted. And then in here we want to do the same as what we did in the background one. So we want to do if I can just copy that. Put it here. Import event type. And this needs to be bookmarked now. And we want to set, so our user has actually bookmarked this episode or TV show. So what we want to do here is actually update the state of bookmarks. So the user can see that they've bookmarked this. Okay, so all we need to do is do set bookmarks, and then the ID, which we will get from data. You could set your notification ID to match the show ID, but you could also do data and then have it here. Because if you wanted to, say, have 2 notifications of Grey's Anatomy, you might, if you just used show ID, that would restrict you. So if we just get it from the data of the notification. So also, just to explain this, every property in data needs to be a string. So dot notification dot data dot show ID. This can be anything, any custom property. This isn't a number anymore. You pass it. Okay, so if we try that, we should see Grey's Anatomy be bookmarked. Yep. Awesome. So that's Android. Next we have iOS, which if I just bring that in quickly. So on iOS, it works a little bit different, but also very similar to Android. So it takes in a category ID, so rather than like specifying the quick actions inside the notification payload, you have to create this category beforehand. And it can only be like a one-time thing, so you have to create the categories all at once together. I tend to do this again in the use effect, just when the app first mounts, but it's totally up to you. We could also do it when we click display notification. It really doesn't matter that much. So if I just quickly write out an async function, and call it. So in here, await Notifee.set notification categories. This is an iOS function only, but on Android with Notifee, you'll just ignore this. So you don't have to worry about wrapping it in a condition. Check the platform. So categories. So it's basically the same as this, except for without the press action object, you just need an ID. So ID default and title. Watch now. So if you go into actions, so our category is going to be new episode. New episode is the one category we got. We basically want it to be the same watch now, same on Android and iOS. You can also do it differently. And then the next action for this category is bookmark, which is the most important one probably. Bookmark, and title. Okay, so, and then our foreground event will detect that we press bookmark. So, okay, let's give this a whiz. Display notification. We drag down, see the actions, click save for later, and fingers crossed, yeah, this updated to be bookmarked. Yay! Foreground true. So this is actually important on iOS. So these little differences between Android and iOS, they're documented on our thing. So if you do trip up, you just go to the docs, you'll see that. Or ask for help on the GitHub. GitHub repos probably the easiest way to get in touch with us who maintain Notifee, is just quickly do a Git issue or look through, see if anyone else has had the same issue. Chances are probably they have. But yeah, more than happy to answer any questions on there. So we'll try this again. Display notification. Put the app in the background, view the notification, watch now, yeah. So yeah, don't forget to do the foreground trim. Now we'll go on to scheduling. So now we've seen quick actions for Android and iOS and how they can help the user engage with your app more. We go into scheduling. So next we move on to scheduling. So this is really useful if for like calendar apps, alarm notifications, anything really that you want to plan ahead, alert the user ahead of time. These are normally great, and you normally ask your user beforehand if they want these notifications. So like, for example, in our skeleton app, it's on TV shows, so if I just get right into it, if we click on Grey's Anatomy or Ozark, which is the payload already designed for this, you can ask, okay, would you like a reminder when this show is about to air? 10 minutes before, one day before? Do you want it to be repeated every Monday at 8 PM? But for this demo we'll just say 10 minutes before Ozark is aired, please let me know, set reminder. At the moment this button doesn't do anything, so let's go ahead and give it something to do. Okay. So we want in here to start to create our trigger notifications. Need to import Notifee first. So we'll import Notifee here. So this takes in a notification, so what the notification we want to look like, our payload, and the trigger, so when do we want this to be scheduled into the future. So I already have this set up in my notifications.ts document. Also this will be available online, so let me go back to it. This is exactly the same as the notification I showed above with the new episode, but instead it's just a different show, different image, and slightly different quick actions. We've got default, dismiss default, and yeah, a different category ID on iOS, which will have the same actions above. The other thing is I do have this here, which is slightly jumping ahead of the demo. But yeah, and this. So with a trigger type, there are multiple trigger types. For this one we're just going to do timestamp. Interval is more if you want to like alarm and you want to notify the user every 5 minutes after they press snooze, or you want a countdown, like okay, trigger in 60 seconds. That's what interval is great for. Timestamp's more great for an actual date and time. So if we do timestamp, and for the demo we'll just go ahead and say we want to trigger in 3 seconds rather than Monday at 8 PM. So which might be in 5 seconds while time you're watching this right now, but for me it's not. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a date that is going to be 3 seconds into the future. Date dot 8 seconds, date dot 8 seconds, plus 3, And we can go ahead and just add that date then as the timestamp. Okay. Also need to import this, which is the payload to the right. Okay, and we should be good to go. I think that's literally all you need. Oh, the other thing, we're doing Android first, so yeah. Don't need to create the category at the moment. And yeah, that's all we're going to be doing, so we're just going to be dismissing it or default. For the dismiss, this is just like, okay, I appreciate the reminder, but I don't want to look in the app right now. I'm just going to get ready for my TV show, so we can actually, when they click the dismiss, we can actually cancel that. So if we update our event handler, as if dismiss, let's cancel this for them, let's get it out of the notification tray. Okay. Otherwise they can check it out ahead of time. So this is going to be a 10-minute reminder ahead of the episode, so they could browse the app, get the app ready if they're that eager to watch the show. We hit set reminder and close the modal. Should get a notification. Yeah, here you go. Oh, Zach, about to begin in 10 minutes. Are you ready? Grab the popcorn. Okay, great. And there's an option, dismiss or see more. If we, for demo reasons, put this in the background, you see that on your thing. Clear. It's not clearing. I'm not sure why. I think, did I spell something wrong? Oh, I know why this is. It's because I put the app in the background, but this is what I'm saying about. This is the on-foreground event, so yeah. I can quickly just put this logic into the background event. And I already have one up here actually. Just do it here. You could also have just done, okay, is it default or dismiss? Basically any ID that you want to cancel, you could just have to put in there. I think I'm going to have to, every time you update the background handler, you have to make sure your app updates. Oh, we'll do that now. We put the app in the background and just hit dismiss. And it cancels. Okay, great. So we open up the app. So that concludes, that's a quick brief look at scheduling, but it really opens up a lot of stuff you can do without a database, like remote notifications, just within the device itself. So that's pretty cool. And I haven't even covered this, I have not even covered half the stuff you can do. This is just, I think, the features that I think are most useful, like that are probably going to be useful for the most amount of different types of apps, so images, videos, scheduling. There's also loads of stuff you can do like timers. The code for this demo is live on GitHub, so go ahead and try it out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Notifee is free for development, and for production, a license is required on Android, but Invitae has been kind enough to offer 100 free licenses using code RNEU. I'm Helena Ford, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the brief intro to local React notifications in React Native.